Yo, I am HyphenX, man, and welcome to a special, I guess, reaction to the challenges of Black Unity panel. Go ahead and drop a one if you're watching this live for me. Drop a two if you're watching this on the playback. Say, hey, I'm just trying to check out some audio here. I think I'm about to get to it here. Give me one moment. Yo, once you hop on, man, go ahead and drop a one for me in the comment section, man. Let me know you're here. I'm want to check some audio real quick. In a perfect world, probably should have did that before, right? We live, baby. I love when I say that. All right, so I am going to go ahead and drop the link right now. If anybody wants to hop on here and also share their reaction to the challenges of Black Unity panel, it got pretty hot. It got a little steamy. It was some great information going out. Difficult conversations had to be had. And that's what we pride ourselves on here at the Great Conversation Podcast, man. Having difficult conversations, respectfully. Well, I even look at the word respect differently now since the podcast. I'm not even gonna stunt. You know what I'm saying? There were some we have some real educated guests. Let me say that. I appreciate all the guests that came on, all the panelists that were on the show, and willing to be vulnerable and have that conversation, you know what I'm saying, in front of a live universe, if you will. Now, there was a lot of wordplay, like where is the village? I remember that's a question that Tony asked. Where is the village? And that's what is the state of the village? Like, let's be real. I seen there's a difference between integrating into a society and unifying for a common goal. Let me say it like that. To tackle white supremacy, to tear down, dismantle. That was a word that was very not well received. Dismantle. Josh did not like the word dismantle. And Rhonda wanted to use the term implicit, and man, I've been practicing that and just didn't hit it. Implicit bias, racial bias, opposed to saying white supremacy, white nationalism. There was a lot of what I have done, but I ain't gonna stunt. It's not about what you have done. It's about what you're doing now. And there was no half dones. There was, these are the things that we tried years ago. She did say that she didn't like the fact that they're trying to take her idea. She did say that. So I don't know. Can there be? Can Black folks really unify for the unification of just being Black? I'm gonna have to say no to that, just for the simple fact that with some points that was raised. I believe Tony brought this point up, as well as Leslie, that we back then we were all unified under Black because we were all going through something together. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say like in the South, that was a collective. You know what I'm saying? Even the ones in the North didn't like what was happening to the ones in the South. You see what I'm saying? So it was like a everything is everything. I'm trying this new earpiece out, guys. If you guys let me know if you can hear me, that would be great. I don't want to go too deep into it, and there's no real audio. But blacks, whites only. Let's not even say Black only. Whites only. Like at one point in time, there were explicit laws against Black folks as a whole. But nowadays, this is my belief, we have integrated into a system, and then people are unifying inside of that system, but they're unifying under the priest. They're unifying under the umbrella of capitalism. So my question is, can blacks have unity without capitalism? Or is unity cannot be with cannot be without capitalism? Like, I don't know. Like, I just sometimes my guys, I just be wondering because I had some people in the inboxes saying that I may have drove a bigger wedge between the Black community here in Rockford. I see counsel from an OG, and the OG let me know that that was not the case because that that tension was already there in the first place. I still stand on that. Like, let's just be honest. The NAACP was out there marching around City Hall with the mayor for oh boy, good trouble, voting rights. But we are now learning from the podcast that I guess she's saying she was stopped by the regional NAACP director or whatever. But if this is something that you cold-heartedly believe in, why wouldn't you, like, I guess that goes to the personal sacrifice thing, step down and speak up? Like, I don't know. But who am I to ask you to do that? Who am I to ask you to step down and then speak up? Because I know that, I guess for the NAACP to have some action, you have to be a member. Because I've tried to work with the NAACP, but I don't want to be a member because I just think like sometimes when you're a member of something like it, like I guess my point is being proven that it'll stop you from doing something. You know what I'm saying? And I just didn't want to be stopped from doing it. That's why I like to be like a bridge for organizations and a bridge for people, you know what I'm saying, a platform for people to be able to air out differences in the hopes of unity. But what is unity? What is unity? Like, what is it? Like, let's be real. Like, what is unity? And there is no utopia. We we're not thinking unity. Like, we're thinking utopia. Like, there's still going to be conflict and strife within. I remember when I first found out that not only was Egypt in Africa and black people were from Africa, and that Jesus was black, that means everybody in the Bible was black. So that meant that the Pharaoh who had enslaved the Hebrew Israelites, he was black. Like, so like there is no utopia. But I am a black first type person. You know what I'm saying? Like I will think to spend my money more with black people first. But like Josh said, that's my intent. So that's me being intentional on trying to tear down white supremacy. But what good is it to give your money to a business, a black-owned business that just wants to perpetuate the good life inside of a white systematic system? I don't know. Like I did leave out with more questions than answers. I'm not going to stunt. Like I know I did, but I think that's good. I think that's good for everyone to try to think about different things. Guys, if you are commenting right now on my personal page, I can't really see those comments right now. If you guys want to hop on over to the Great Conversation Podcast Facebook page or on YouTube, go ahead and you can post your comments there just so that I can kind of see them, because I would love to hear what some of you guys got to say. Now, I did already drop the link. Okay, the link has been dropped. If you want to come on and share your reaction to the challenges of Black Unity panel, like I would love to hear some of these. Because like I got some, man. The inboxes and the reception has been a mix. Has been a mix because I think like we did something similar to this with our closed door conversations. This is like right around the time everybody was unifying for underneath the umbrella of George Floyd. And the ones that were there, they did charge the older community, the ones that were fighting for like, equal education and things like that in Rockford and whatnot. Like once they get in there, you know what I'm saying? Like they be in there. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Is is there room for capitalism inside of Black liberation? Is there room? And if there is room for it, how do we not let it be corrupt? I think it's a good question. Because I've watched the podcast a few times now and listened to it a few times now on Spotify and all those Apple podcasts. We're also on Apple Podcasts as well. Like I listened to it. I watched it. But I do know that probably each person in that room has tried to work with each other at least once. At least once. Or at least thought about it. So if you guys want to come on, man, go ahead and click on the link. Click on the link here, man. Share your thoughts, your reactions of the Black Unity panel. I'm sorry, the challenges of Black unity. Because that's another thing. People are like, you're not perpetuating Black unity. Well, that's not what it wasn't about that. It was about the challenges of Black unity. What keeps us from unifying under the precedent of only being Black? I guess that's because all Black people are not the same. I guess that's because the Sauce Queen was going on. She will be back. I believe we're gonna have her on the show. We're gonna pop up for the one time for the sidebar. So be on the lookout for that. But man, we must continue. But in what direction? I believe that everyone, it's like people do profit off the struggle. Like we do know that. You know what I'm saying? Like we do know that. Some people like busy work. But is your intention to exploit the dollars from the city to for just for youth, or are you exploiting the city for money to fund Black unity and liberation? Oh man, it was a lot going on. I had we had six panelists come on the show. We're talking about the challenges of Black unity. A lot a lot of great educated conversation was on the podcast, but keep in mind it was about the challenges. We do have some people who want to attack Black unity as almost an infiltration type deal, where they're infiltrating the system to tear it down from within. That was like a kind of almost like an analogy that Tony used. I'm not word for word, but it was somewhat of that. He said you find out how the house is structured, and then you attack it from all angles. And then there was, like it was a lot. There was a lot of like things said. You know what I'm saying, to each other. Like I really encourage people to go back, listen to the conversation, and really think about it. Trying to see what you said here. Hold on. Are you bringing them back to finish it? I would love to have them back. I would definitely love to have them back. But I think this is what I want to do. I think this is what I want to do. I think I want to have each one on individually. I think I want to have each one of them on individually and then bring them back all together. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I can get that commitment out of everyone, but I'm definitely going to try. I am definitely going to try. Because we talk about mental health all the time. Like psychological warfare is real. You know what I'm saying? Since being captured and in this country, or even just being brought over from another country, stolen, however way you believe we got here or we're already here, the same thing happened. White supremacy is real. White supremacy is real. What's up, Josh? Definitely, bro. I definitely want to sit down and talk to you. I definitely want to sit down and talk to you. I wish you. I hope. Right now, I wish that you are in a position right now to click that link. To click that link and join me right now, because I do have some questions. You know what I'm saying? I do have questions because after going back and watching, like, yeah, guys, I'm all about free flowing conversation. Like some of my homies would say, you know what I'm saying? That was real nigga dialogue because it did hop around everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It did. He said, "You're a legend." Appreciate that. Like it does. It it. I don't know, man. Like it was everywhere. But it was conversation that had to be brought. It was conversation that had to be had. It was dialogue that had to be out there. And I did. How radical? How radical do we have to be to tear down white supremacy? Or is it radical to infiltrate a system and tear it down? The only thing I just ain't never seen was somebody who ran in there and tore it down. Like I see people that maybe start out with a good intention. You know what I'm saying? They start out with a good intention, like, yeah, man, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna learn everything, and I'm gonna bring it back to the people. You know what I'm saying? But then they get that becomes the only lane that they're in. Not saying we have to be well versed, well rounded individuals when it comes to Black liberation, and that's real. Like, what are we doing? Are we still integrating? Like, Rhonda brought up a thing about how like there was a segregated school and it was a Black principal, and the Black principal had the Black kids with the Black teachers and the white kids with the white teachers. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see a problem with that. I just asked, was the books the same? I'm like, is it what are the books the same? Are the teachers educated the same way? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have a problem with that. I believe we allow white supremacy to use the word diversity to blind us into just wanting to be act and be white. And people know what I'm, and you know what I mean when I say that. You know what I mean when I say that. Bet, bro, we'll definitely get you home. So, are we talking about what are we talking? If we're unifying, what's the common goal? Because one of our guests, Asia, I'm sorry, listeners, Asia Penix, she was a guest on the show before. We also did a great piece on her as well. Just go ahead and look on the videos on the Facebook and our YouTube here. You'll definitely get acquainted with her. She said something that was very profound. And I'm not saying it verbatim, I'm just kind of paraphrasing it, that we don't have a common goal. For true unification, a common goal is needed. We don't have a common goal. We don't. We can't even agree that the system that we know was never made for us. We don't even want to say, hey, we should take it down, put our minds together, come up with something different, and try that out for a minute, see how that work out. We don't even want to tear that down, but we find more joy in, you know what I'm saying, making it in that system, defying the odds. But then we say that Black businesses shouldn't compete. Black people compete everywhere else. Entertainment, athletics. But in a capitalistic society, it comes in and you got to be competitive there too. So if somebody did come, I believe Tony used the analogy. My man was out here using all the analogies and doing all the storytelling, man. I appreciate that because that's a different way of teaching, and I do appreciate that. Um, what now? What was the Riddler saying? Uh, he was saying that hey, what? I forgot what he said. Uh, oh, I lost it just like that. Man, I can't even remember what I was saying, what I was talking about, train of thought. Because I was just thinking about all the way he was, the way Tony was giving his answers into everything. Like, you know what I'm saying, it was a story with it, you know what I'm saying? So we can relate to it, you know what I'm saying? So we can actually hear and feel what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? I did appreciate that. You know, I just kind of forgot what you were saying. My apologies. It'll come back to me. Oh yeah, here we go. We can't even get our community in order. How can we take down a system? What would that system look like? Our current community, asking for myself. Yes, yes, that's what I'm saying. We do, in that aspect, we have to unify, put our brains together. You know what I'm saying? Put our brains together. We say that education is an issue. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get it. Like, and then this is what I personally think. I personally think we should no longer waste our time with people who do not agree with your objective and in the fight for Black liberation. Don't waste your time. You ain't gotta hate on them. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so you're not an op. You're not an op, but you on the sidelines. I'm not really finna deal with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep going in this lane right here and pushing forward. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna link up with somebody else that think like me. So that's that's what I think. I think we can start there. You know what I'm saying? Because our current community is kind of messed up. You know what I'm saying? And we know that. Let me see what my man Josh said. What's the difference between white supremacy being a great threat to Black advancement and Black people can't advance without white permission? Whew, that is white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't really understand what you asking. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna read it again because maybe I'm not reading it clear enough for me. Oh, let me put this up on the screen so people can see what Siobhan said. Boom. All right, so this is what Josh said. This is on my other page. You know what I'm saying? I got two things going on right here. He says, what's the difference between white supremacy being the greatest threat to Black advancement and Black people can't advance without white permission? That's white supremacy. So I really don't understand the question. Oh, what's going on? Fantasia? Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but what you talking about? I'm gonna read it again because like maybe I'm not getting it. Maybe I'm not reading it right. What's the difference between white supremacy being the greatest threat to Black advancement and Black people can't advance without white permission? Okay, in a way, yeah, because you gotta you. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying the power of intent. Are you talking about integrating into a system that you know is not designed for you, and then finding gratitude and euphoria in conquering that, so-called conquering that system or advancing in that system? Or are we talking about Black liberation? We govern ourselves and we create. Are you taking the money that you're getting from the opportunities that is given to you through white supremacy to help fund Black liberation? Boom. That's what we're saying. That's what I'm saying. So back to answer your question, because I know I didn't answer your question. To answer your question, so we can't advance without white permission. Somewhere in the deal, you dealing with white people. Somewhere in the deal, in some type of white supremacy. We're not. Kanye Way is like can make money. People can make money. People are able to make money inside of this capitalist society. My man's keep trying to call, but I'm definitely doing it live. If you go over to my if you're not seeing the link right now, guys, go ahead and hop over to the Great Conversation Podcast Facebook page. The link is in there. The link is in there. I think that's probably what the issue is right now. The link is in there. If you want to go ahead, click on the link, you can come on the show. And we can talk about this. Because I'm put it back here. She said, we can't even get our community in order. How can we take down a system? Like, is that to say, why even try? What would that system look like? I agree with that statement. And that's what we have to come together with. Right there. That's what I believe. Let me tell my man to tune in. That's like, these are the type of conversations I like to have. Like, I don't want us to get caught up in that same trap that we accuse the police department of doing PR with kids, but then when they become adults, we just throw them to the wayside and tell them to figure it out on their own. Sink or swim, nigga. I don't want us to be guilty of that. And then I believe somebody used the thing where a black somebody was in jail, prison probably, and a black CEO was the one looking out for him the most. Is that unity, or is that helping each other navigate through a white supremacy, a white supremacist system? Is that somebody showing you how to navigate? Is that black liberation? Is that unity? Is that unity inside of white supremacy? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think. If I have to go, I don't think it is. I don't even want to say where I got my food from. I slipped up a little bit. Oh, okay. There has always been a ruling class, church, and a subservient class. You either going to conquer or be conquered. We have to stop chasing equality. It's like chasing a unicorn. It doesn't exist. Shut it on the screen. Let me shut it on the screen. And that's what I said earlier. There's always been a ruling class and a subservient class. You either going to be conquered, or I'm sorry, you're either going to conquer or be conquered. We have to stop chasing equality. It's like chasing a unicorn. It doesn't exist. So what? So some would say we supposed to be chasing equity. Could you imagine being in the trenches with us? Like you and your homie was both slaves, right? He, through the good graces of the master, he started to get opportunities. He started to advance. He started to get more responsibility. He became your boss. He talked to you as if he owned you. Oh yeah. Oh, bring my man's on. Yo.
Chief,
Let me check your volume. Hello?
D Sizzle, can you hear me, man?
Oh man, hold on. Give me 1 second, bro. It's not you, it's me. Boom. All right, hello?
Chief,
Yeah, boom. We in it. Ladies and
what's going
gentlemen,
on,
ladies and
boss?
gentlemen, got my man's on here. I heard I didn't know you had a slick name. I didn't know you had a DC in you. I didn't know you had a JP in you. That's the
Hey, man.
business name. Go
Man,
ahead,
I'm just
bro.
happy to
I
be
know I've
here,
been
man.
talking. All right, thanks for coming on, man. I know I've been talking, man. I'm gonna go ahead and let you speak.
Man, I'm just, first of all, I appreciate you, man. I think it's a huge, it's huge for you to have this platform and not only to have it, but to keep it going and using it for, great conversations like this. So I appreciate you, man. And
All right, thank you.
and I think, the question around the difference between, white supremacy and white permission, like being the biggest or the greatest obstacle for black advancement. Ultimately I just think that we have to be the main character. I know I said this on the episode. We have to be the main characters of our story. So I just think about it like if I'm interviewing HyphenX, you know, you just did a podcast or you did whatever. I'm interviewing you, and every time I ask you a question, you start talking about somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that like for our story, and our existence, our advancement, it has to be about us. You know what I mean? And I know that there's real obstacles, there's real barriers in the way. You know what I mean? But we're talking about, I think that we're a success story. Like black people in America, that's a success story. And that's not to discredit or take away from real issues, real barriers, whether it be white supremacy, and other systematic, things and forms of oppression that are real. I'm not saying that they're not real. I'm just saying that, we're a success story, and we come from a bloodline and of strong, I mean, will people who, through anything, we're gonna find a way and make a way for ourselves. And
Right,
I think that success, doesn't have to be, even when we think about, what we want out of our experience, even that, I think we have to really claim for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like success doesn't have to be driving a certain car or living in a certain neighborhood or, any of those things. Like, so I think we really have to redefine, and I think we can't really redefine what success is and what our values are, what I'm saying, if we aren't the main characters of our story. You know what I mean?
right. I hear what you're saying. So I'm the main character in my story, right?
For sure.
So I'm okay. My I grew up, right? Family members addicted to drugs,
For sure.
right? I find out later on in life during the 80s and whatnot, you got some static coming in. Um, that in the 80s that Reagan is the one who dropped the he's the main guy who dropped the cocaine, right? White supremacy is the evil villain in our story. Okay? It's the evil villain in our story. It is the one that we have to triumph. It is the one that we have to defeat so that the main character can live happily ever after. So it goes back to, are we talking about finding success within a white supremacist system, or are we talking about black liberation? That like that
That's
like that's what it goes back to.
but I mean, I don't know. I guess even that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I think, I guess the analogy that you used, you know what I'm saying? That I think if you watching you know, any superhero, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's gonna be villains. They got an arch enemy, you know, a super villain. You know, they a superhero, and they got an arch enemy, like you saying. At the end of the day, it's Superman. It's Black. Like that superhero is gonna triumph. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna win. You know, in whatever way they're gonna, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel about us. Like Osiris, like you can't keep the black man down. You know what I mean? Like, and history has proven that time and time again. You know what I
Right.
mean?
So
Like
I know you're saying that history is showing us that we can't keep a black
that,
man down, but what's keeping the black?
you
What was
know,
keeping
there's
that black man down?
been so many attempts, man. You know what I'm saying?
And then let me ask you this question: can Superman or Batman or the Hawk, can any of
I
those
guess I don't
people
disagree
win their victory by not paying attention to the villain, to not showing the villain any attention?
Yeah, no.
Can they win?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of game
Dang.
film. You know what I'm saying? Like we got a lot of game film, and you know what I mean? Like I said, like, and that's the history, you know what I'm saying? And so I definitely, I guess what I'm not saying is that we should just act like it's cool and act like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all I'm saying is, you know, I think there's a thin line, you know, and I think we do have to be careful when we're, you know, how much power we give away and how much power we give ourselves, you know, in terms of the conversation of how do we advance as a people, you know what I mean, and giving our power away to say, well, we have to have permission from another group of people in order to make the type of, you know, to make advancements. You know, that's just something I think that we have to be careful about, because we are powerful people. We've proven that. You know, yes, there are sets of
So when you
other
so when you have to,
informs of people who,
yeah, when you get ready to
you know,
go,
are, you know, that are oppressed. That's real. I think we have to acknowledge the power that we have.
oh, I'm losing you, bro. Hey, I'm gonna exit you out, and then I'm gonna have you come right back. I don't know what happened to his feed. We lost him. Hopefully he'll come back on, because I do got a couple more questions. Because Josh was saying some things like, a power intent, is this about hurting white people, or is it about helping blacks? And who would benefit the most from tearing down a white supremacy? Because why have black people been the target of white Americans? Why? Why is that? Like, are we going to ignore that? Like, once again, my question stands. Are we talking about infiltrating and integrating into a system and finding triumph in that system? Or are we talking about black liberation, a black self-sustained system? Are we going to talk about that? Are we going to talk about unifying to make it within the system? Because you do got to get permission. You want to build something, you got to get permission from a primarily white board, or by white standards, white rules, white jurisdiction,
to the things that's been there for since the inception of time. You got to get the zones right. You got to do this. You got to do that. Even the white man got to get permission from the white man to do stuff. So it's not. It's you do have to ask permission. Like, there's no way around that. Like, permission has to be that. Man, I'm definitely gonna have Josh come back on so we can talk more about that because, like, here's another in the fight for Black liberation. Is there room? Is there room? Okay, let me say this. Let me just. Is there room for capitalism? And if so, how do we make it so that it's not corrupt? Let me say this. If you could stand and take pictures with the mayor, pictures with the police, openly, you can just do this openly. Why can't you openly stand with your brother or your sister for the fight for Black liberation in Rockford, Illinois? Openly. What has your capital cost you? What have your connections pulled you into? Can Black people unify for the sole purpose of being Black? I don't think for the sole purpose, but maybe for the sole common goal. And then you have like some Black people that's not gonna be with your plan. But if you truly doing it for the love of your people, then they will also benefit. That's how I see it. Well, if anyone else wants to come on, anybody else got anything to say, you know how we say it, man. All minds clear. Guys, I encourage you to go check out our catalog on Spotify. Type in the Great Conversation Podcast. Also on Anchor and Apple Podcasts and YouTube. And if you don't follow us here on Facebook, go ahead and follow us on Facebook. Uh, we got our sidebars coming back soon. We're gonna have a special one here. Uh, soon as my sauce queen get back, Nala from Nala's Kitchen, Poppy Shit Podcast, Prestige Hair Oil. The list goes on and on. I think she do what else Nala Kitchen do we doing? Meal prep, all that. All that. But and you know, and then like when you ask yourself these questions, like if you are say you are about thriving inside of a capitalistic system and triumph inside of a system that was never made for you. If that's what you're doing, man, go hard and link up with some Black people like that for you and go hard. But just understand that it's on the other side of that coin is other Black people. You know what I'm saying? That and they may not have the same beliefs as you. You know what I'm saying? And they're not gonna try to sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of stand up, stand on what you believe in. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got to stand alone, and that's for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Just stand up for what you believe in, man. And if you can't explain it, you don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? So our sidebar conversation. That's what I was talking about. Our sidebar conversation, guys. If you guys have like relationship advice, you know what I'm saying. If you need a relationship advice, ask your boy HyphenX. If you guys want to air out maybe something that was going on with a coworker or anything, you know what I'm saying. Go ahead and email us at the Great Conversation Let's Talk at gmail.com or right here on Facebook at let's what is it at Great Conversation Let's Talk. Okay. So go ahead and hit us up. I love to interact with you guys a little bit more, man. Hey, thank you, Joshua Patterson, for coming on. I appreciate you also very much for hopping on here. We're gonna sit down with you later on. Tantasia, thank you so much for popping up in here, man. It was good to see you. Siobhan, always a good time, a great conversation with you. I would love to have you back on the show as well. Maybe we'll get you migrate over here to the great conversation. I think you had you on sidebar before. All right. So if all minds are clear, man, I just want you guys to remember, man, that you don't always have to agree to have a great conversation. Peace.